All right, great. So Community Music Volume 1.
Yes, sir.
Tinctures in Time.
Yes, sir. Community Music Volume 1.
Yes. What's the idea behind community music?
Well, this music I make now, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I was listening to Ben Porowski, the drummer, who plays so incredibly on this stuff. And then, I don't know what made me listen to it, but made me think about, like, when we made the second Spanish Fly record, Ben played on a lot of it. First Spanish Fly record, he just played on a couple tunes. And I went back and listened to it. And it was already some super unique stuff that only he could have done, and only he could have done while he was playing with me, and I only could have done it when I was playing with him. And that was, you know, close to 30 years ago.
Wow.
And it was already like, we were creating some kind of, it wasn't as like formed as what we're doing now. But it was pretty unique, man. I don't know if you ever heard that second Spanish Fly record, The Ballet. And, you know, so I've always been writing this. So it's about every note you hear is part of this community. I mean, you know, me and Peter Applebaum, that goes back almost 50 years. I mean, I was I think 11, I'll never forget. Maybe I met him when I was 11, I joined his band when I was 12. I think that's how it worked. And Doug Wieselman, I turned 22 on the road with him. Curtis Folks, I replaced him in the Lounge Lizards. Ben Allison, met him in college, when he was in college. So, you know, we kind of created this sound of playing together, and that's really what the music is. You know, and I'm not even saying, of course, Charlie Burnham and Matt Monasteri. I mean, you know, it's the community that creates the music. It's community music. Like, they couldn't do it and I couldn't do it without each other.
Sure. But then you have to craft you're setting the foundations for these
pieces.
Well,
my name's on the top.
Sure.
You know.
But you're thinking about, as you're writing this music, you're thinking about all these people that
right, and what they can bring. And see, you know, I'm a big believer in improvisation. And I'll tell you a funny Spanish Fly story. Our last tour, before the first time we broke up, it kind of ended pretty darkly, man. It was like, you know, because, you know, a band that really relies on trust, and sometimes if things just kind of get weird, it's just hard to get that music, because it's not like you're putting on a show. You're improvising together. And we played this gig, and sometimes it just wouldn't work, you know. One guy would be improvising, and one would, and it just didn't. It just happens sometimes.
Sure.
It wasn't like bad. It just, you know. And afterwards, the Moscow Art Trio. Have you ever heard them?
No.
Yeah, most people haven't. They're incredible. And for a while, they were working all the time in Europe. And it was like also a trio. It was French horn, Arcady, this virtuoso, piano player virtuoso. And I guess the third guy must have been a drummer. He probably also played some like Russian percussion, as I remember, like Eastern. And they put on this show like, you know, it's improvisation, but like zippy endings, like, it's really incredible. You know, very like worked out. And of course, when you do that, the audience is like, you know. And afterwards, the leader came up to us and says, yes, improvisation, very optimistic. You know, because it is optimistic to improvise.
Sure.
Because you could easily not get there.
Yeah.
And if it's
high risk, high reward.
Yeah, and if you write something really great, you know it's science. You know how it's going to work out. I mean, it's science. It's all about like vibrations and how people react to things. But so what I'm trying to say, what that gets back to is community music. Like within the music, a lot of times, I know if I write something, somebody will interpret it in an improvisatory way, knowing that that's not going to be played exactly how I write it. Like that's how they're going to approach it. And I like to even, you know, even when it's nice to have somebody improvising at some point during the song at all times.
Sure.
And when you have all these personalities, each one, you know, is going to bring something really specific.